Hello and warm regards from Next Styles team. Welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. Today is 12th December and let's see the topics that we are going to cover today. The first topic we are having is from the ancient history, Adichanallur historical site. This particular site is a news because High Court, Madras High Court has prohibited sand mining near this region. So we are going to see what is the site and what is the significance of this particular site. The second topic is AI and Copyright Act. So in the context of AI, how the copyrights are being infringed. In that context, we need to amend the Copyright Act or we need to update the Copyright Act so that we can easily deliberate with the challenges posed by AI. Then the third topic we are having is air pollution, the grave health threat that air pollution have on us. What are the root causes? What is the structure of the AI? What is the structure of the mechanism through which we measure the air pollution, and what changes we need? The next is Narco test. The Supreme Court has struck down a Patna High Court verdict regarding this particular test, and in this context, we are going to have the legal perspective of the Narco test. Then next topic is the human rating for the Gaganyaan mission. That Gaganyaan, that is the first manned mission of India. So in that context, we are going to see what is the human rating for the launch vehicles. The next topic is from international relation, import tariffs by the Mexico. Mexico has imposed 50% tariffs on the Asian countries including India. So we are going to discuss that what are the implications of that tariff on India. The next is gold card visa scheme of USA that has now become online. So we are going to see what is this particular gold card scheme and how it is different from other green card and other cards of the USA. The first topic we are having is Adichanallur historical site. Now this site is a news because Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has prohibited sand mining in near this Adichanallur historical site. Now this topic is relevant from GS Prelims, Ancient History and Art and Culture. So let's see the news first and then about the site. So the news is that the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has prohibited sand mining near the Adichanallur archaeological site and its village because a lot of illegal sand mining was being done and it was affecting this particular Adichanallur historical site. Now what is this site? Where is the location of this site? Let's see that also. This site is located in the lower part of Tamil Nadu and it is near the river Thamirabani river. So this Thamirabani river is important for us. It is on the right bank of this particular river and it is in the lower part of the Tamil Nadu. Now this Thamirabani river, it originates from Agastyamalai hills and it drains into Gulf of Mannar. And it is a perennial river. Mind it, it is not an ephemeral river, it is a perennial river. That means it flows year round. So this is a perennial river. On the bank of it, we are having Adichanallur historical site. Now next part is what is the significance of it? Because it is one of the oldest Iron Age burial sites and the age is more than 3000 years. Here we have found pottery, urn burials, skeleton remains, iron tools, pottery, bronze artifacts and evidences of the early meteorology. The next thing is that it has also been designated as the nationally protected monument by Archaeological Survey of India and Archaeological Survey of India is doing excavations in this region. Now it is considered crucial for understanding the South Indian prehistory and the early human settlements along the Thamirabani river. Next last part is that the Union government has announced the establishment of the National Museum at the Adichanallur site to showcase the artifacts and preserve the region's Iron Age culture heritage. Now based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the next topic. The second topic we are having is AI and copyright laws. So the backdrop here is that the Union government is planning to bring amendment to the Copyright Act of 1957 within 3 years. And the basic reasoning behind this is that the copyrighted material is being used by the AI tools to generate the content. So these copyrighted materials, the owners of the copyrighted material are not getting any kind of royalties. Let's understand the model first. The model is something like this, that for example, any command is given to Chat GPT. I'm just taking the example of Chat GPT. This Chat GPT is going to search the internet and it is going to go to the multiple websites, and they will be having their own content that have been created by those websites itself. For example, Indian Express is there. The Indian Express goes, collects the news, and then publishes the news. So this chat GPT is using these websites and taking content from them. After taking that content is then compiled and given back as the answer. Now what is happening here? Any person who is giving this command is now disconnected from these websites who have actually created the content, and they are just relying upon the chat GPT, and that is happening across the spectrum with every AI tool. So in this context, these are getting disincentivized. The work that they are doing, that work is not culminating into the remuneration part. So in that context, we need to update our copyright law so that we can integrate the AI in that, so that we can integrate the challenges posed by AI in that copyrighted material. So the news is very simple, that the Copyright Amendment Act of 1957 is going to be amended within 3 years, and this has been said in a working paper released by DPIIT. The name of the working paper is One Nation, One License, One Payment, Balancing AI Innovation and Copyright. The backdrop, as we have already discussed, that the concerns are over the AI firms using copyrighted material without payment, and various organizations like Indian Express, New York Times have shown those concerns and have even filed lawsuits against these AI companies like OpenAI. Now next part is that what are the recommendations that have been given by this particular working paper. The recommendations given are, first of all, we need a mandatory blanket licensing model. That simply means any AI firm that is working should have a license without which it cannot work in the country. That is the first thing. The second thing is that if they are using copyrighted material, then they have to pay royalty to the original owners of the copyrighted material. For example, if they are taking any news from Indian Express or the Hindu, then this AI firm, with whatever revenue it is earning, they have to pay royalties to the Indian Express and the Hindu newspaper. The next part is that from where this, what will be the revenue concern here. For example, whether the Indian revenues will be taken into consideration or the global revenues will be taken into consideration. So this working paper says whatever global revenues these AI developers are earning, from that a percentage has to be given to the copyright holder of the material. So that is the suggestion of this particular working paper. Now in this context, who is going to govern that these revenues are being given and how the revenues or the royalties will be distributed? So for the collection and the distribution of the royalties, we are going to have one committee known as Copyright Royalties Collective for AI Training. One more thing is there, one more suggestion has been given by this working paper. The working paper says that if the copyrighted material is being used for training of AI, then no payment need to be done. The royalty payment will only be done when this copyrighted material is being used for processing the information and adhering to a command given by a person. The next thing is objective kya hai? Objective is very simple, to reduce the conflict between the publishers and the AI developers over data used in training. Also, it seeks to ensure free access to public content model training while guaranteeing compensation to copyrighted material. And the next part is that the second working paper will also be published within 2 to 3 years, and that will be focusing upon the AI generated works, whether those AI generated works can be copyrighted or not. So that is the paper on this is also going to come up within 2 to 3 months, in next 2 to 3 months. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the third topic. The third topic we are having is the air pollution, how it has become a grave health threat. Now, air pollution is no more limited to a certain area or certain time. Initially, what was happening, that air pollution was basically affecting the time period from October to December or January. Now, it has become a year-round problem. Even in June also, even in July also, we see the level of air pollution in the cities is very high. Secondly, it is no more restricted to the northern India. It is now affecting the whole of the country. Third is that it is affecting all the demographic groups. For example, elderly are being affected, children are being affected, the working age population is being affected, women are affected. So everyone is affected by the air pollution problem that we are facing. And lastly, it is affecting multiple organs. The impact of the air pollution is no more restricted to the respiratory organs. It is affecting the health also, it is affecting the joints also, it is affecting the brain also. So every organ or multiple organs are being affected by this air pollution problem. So in nutshell, air pollution is now a year-round national crisis. The relevance is GS paper 3, environment and pollution and degradation. So let's see the news. The news is that according to a study by the Center for Research on the Energy and Clean Air, it has said that 250 cities were monitored, and in those 250 cities it was found that in 150 cities the level of PM 2.5 was more than the national limit. National limit of ours is 60 microgram per meter cube. So more than 150 cities were exceeding this level. And if you talk about WHO, it says only 15 micrograms per meter cube should be the limit. So already our national limit is 4 times that of the WHO prescribed limit, and this limit is being exceeded by more than 150 cities in the country. So the condition is very severe. The Delhi ki agar hum baat kare, if we talk about Delhi itself, the national capital, the level are on an average 107 to 130 micrograms per meter cube. And this PM 2.5 is very dangerous for the health. Let's see that also. The next part is that what are the issues with the AQI framework that we are having. Our AQI framework or air quality index framework says that the maximum limit it has prescribed is 500. You will never find that ki 500 se upar wo dikhaye kuch. So it is basically 500. The basic objective of keeping was that there should not be a panic among the people, and also if the AQI is severe or AQI is more than 500, it simply means the impact is going to be almost the same. There will be no incremental impact. It will be affecting the health in a severe manner. So that's why we are having a 500 as the maximum limit. Now what we see is that this 500 has become a new normal. The cap was introduced the year to avoid panic, assuming a uniform harm above the 500 limit. So that was the objective here. Now experts are saying that first of all we need to recalibrate these thresholds. We need to see what is the actual limit of AQI, because when we are having the actual levels of AQI in the city, then only our efforts are going to increase in that manner. The second is that the upper cap should be removed. Next, upgrade the monitoring instruments. The monitoring instruments have also become obsolete, or they are very old also. So we need to upgrade our monitoring instruments also, so that we can take a proper analysis what is the actual AQI level in our cities. The next part is that the structural versus seasonal distractions. So what we observe is that what is the basic argument is that due to stubble burning and due to festivals like Diwali, the air pollution levels increase. Now this seasonal distraction can be removed, because what we find is that year-round, pure saal bhar we have high levels of air pollution. So we need to take concentrated efforts at the source of those pollutions. And what are the sources? Sources include vehicular emission, because vehicles in the cities are very high and their movement is slow. So there are vehicular emissions. That is one of the prominent reasons for air pollution. Then second is industrial pollution that we are having. Then construction and demolition dust, that is another source of air pollution. Informal waste burning. And lastly, household biomass use. So these are the main causes for the air pollution. What is a seasonal effect? For example, stubble burning or festivities, they actually increase the level, or they increase the spike of the air pollution. But basically, these are the main reasons due to which we face the problem of air pollution. And this problem is year-round. So we need to take steps to reduce air pollution from these sources. We need to work upon these sources. The next part is that what is the effect of the air pollution. So you will see, first of all, life expectancy is reducing. 46% of the Indians who are living in the Indian cities are seeing a reduced life expectancy. So almost 50% of the population is having a less life expectancy because they are living in these highly polluted areas. The second, if we talk about Delhi itself, exposure to PM 2.5 reduces the age by 8 or more years. The next is Northern India. If you are living in Northern India, your age is being reduced by 3.5 to 7 years, depending upon in which area you are living. The next is rising mortality, the number of deaths that are increasing. Nearly 2 million, that means 20 lakh deaths in 2023 are attributed to the air pollution. And this is a report by the State of Global Air 2025. And major causes for the deaths or mortality was cardiovascular diseases, strokes, COPD, and diabetes. And these cardiovascular diseases, strokes, they are one of the reason for these increasing cases of these cardiovascular diseases is the PM 2.5. Where is the PM 2.5? So PM exposure to PM 2.5 is one of the cause due to which the heart diseases are increasing. That's why we are seeing rising mortality. Pollution linked mortality is up by 43% since 2000. So pollution becomes a grave threat for us. Now next part is cardiovascular damage, how this pollution is affecting the cardiovascular system. So what happens is that PM 2.5, because the particles are very, very small, they penetrate the lungs, they go into the bloodstream and they cause systemic inflammation. The Indian studies show that if a 8% rise in the annual mortality, if a 10% increase, if per 10 microgram per meter cube increase in the PM 2.5 levels. Second, it is linked to hypertension, arthritis, then heart attacks, arthritis, and ischemic strokes. So basically, PM 2.5 is increasing the heart cases or heart related disease related cases in the country. The second impact is the respiratory illness. 6% of the Indian children suffer from asthma. Main reason is air pollution. Then AIMS data shows that if a 10 microgram per meter cube increase is there in the PM 2.5 levels, then 20 to 40% spike will be seen in the pediatric emergency care. Children show 10 to 15% reduced lung capacity in polluted cities, and adults increasing COPD, bronchitis, and recurrent respiratory infection is seen in the adults as well. So more or less every demographic group is being affected by this. The next part is neurological impact. PM 2.5 crosses the blood-brain barrier and causes neuroinflammation, oxidative stress. So what is going to be the impact? The impact will be on the memory, will be slow cognitive speed, poor academic performance. So the children are going to be affected in this manner. Then international studies show 35 to 49% higher dementia risk per 10 microgram per meter cube increase in the PM 2.5 levels. Then it accelerates brain aging via vascular injury and toxic metal poisoning. The next is maternal and neonatal harm. It is associated with preterm births, then low birth weight, stillbirths, and a higher neonatal mortality. Women near the roads, industries, and waste burning site face higher risk because directly they are exposed to the pollution levels. The next is disproportionate burden on the poor because lower income groups live closest to the emission hotspots, for example, road, industries, construction zones, landfills, etc. Then poor housing and limited clean fuel access, that actually increases their vulnerabilities. And northern winter months see adverse AQI level where poorest suffer the most. So it is also creating an inequality in the society because poor are getting affected more by this degraded air quality. Then next, what we need to do? First of all, we need to bring in transport reforms because vehicular pollution is one of the main reasons. So we need to go for the electrification of the public transportation and also the private transportation. Then shift fleet from diesel trucks to the rail and electric fleets. Then real world emission monitoring is required and low emission zones and congestion pricing should also be introduced. Then industrial controls, strict enforcement of the pollution control technologies. Then phased move away from coal based industrial processes. Then next is construction sector, dust suppression should be mandatory. Norms and mechanical sweeping should be mandatory. Then waste management reforms, first of all segregation at the source and decentralized treatment is required. Biomethanation and scientific landfill remediation is also required. Then eliminating open waste burning. These three measures need to be taken with respect to waste management reforms. Then integration with the health system, first of all AQI based district level health advisories should be issued. Lung function testing in school health program should be included. Screening for COPD and cognitive decline in high exposure groups should also be introduced. Then you are in a position to attempt this MCQ and post your answers in the comment box. The fourth topic we are having is about the Narco test, and here we are going to see the legal perspective of the Narco test, whether it is constitutional or unconstitutional, and if it is constitutional, in what conditions it becomes a constitutional and in what conditions it is unconstitutional. So the backdrop here is that Supreme Court set aside the Patna High Court order regarding narco test, and the topic's relevance comes from GS paper 2, Indian Constitution, significance provisions and basic structure. So let's go to the news. The news is that Supreme Court has given a ruling on the narco test, and the case here is Amlesh Kumar versus State of Bihar. In this case, the Supreme Court has said that any kind of forced or involuntary narco test is unconstitutional and invalid. So it is saying forced or involuntary narco test is unconstitutional and invalid, and this is actually a retracement of the statement earlier given in another judgment. That judgment was Salvi versus State of Karnataka. So in this Salvi versus State of Karnataka also, Supreme Court has clarified that the narco test will only be admissible if it has been done with the consent of the person. अगर उस person की consent नहीं है, then that test becomes invalid. Any findings that come out of that narco test, they are also not admissible in the court of law. उसके अलावा we have two more cases, Manoj Kumar Saini versus State of Madhya Pradesh, Vinoba Bhai versus State of Kerala. These two cases are also relevant with respect to the narco test. Now, why narco test is invalid? If any forced or involuntary narco test is invalid, it is invalid because Article 20 Clause 3 says so. It says that no person accused of any offence shall be forced or compelled to be a witness against himself. So, if a narco test has been forced upon a person, that amounts to the violation of Article 23A. उसके अलावा one more thing that you need to know is that the Indian criminal justice system, the bedrock for that, or the basis for the Indian criminal system is Article 20. Article 20 Clause A talks about laws that declare an act as an offence which when committed was not an offence. Then no person shall be persecuted and punished for the same offence more than once, that is, it is against double jeopardy. And third clause is about the protection of an accused from self-incrimination, that a person cannot be forced to give proof to be witness against himself. Now next is the golden triangle. So another thing about the Indian criminal system is about the golden triangle. So golden triangle talks about the rights of the people. There is one Article 21, then we are having Article 20, Article 19 and Article 14. So these three articles form the golden triangle. Now it says the violation of right to privacy would thereby violate the right to life and personal liberty, and finally the golden triangle. The next part is that Supreme Court has certain more observations in the case. These observations include that information obtained from the test must be collaborated with the other evidence. That means only this information is not going to be admissible. It should be backed by the evidence also. So secondly, there should be evidence along with the information. Secondly, the consent must be informed, recorded before a magistrate. So only when the consent has been recorded before a magistrate, then only it will be admissible as a valid narco test. Then test must be undertaken within medical, legal and procedural safeguards. And lastly, the legal provision for that includes section 253 of BNSS. So this provision provides for this narco test. Now based upon the discussion, attempt this MCQ and post your answers in the comment box, and let's move to the next topic. The fifth topic we are having is human rating for the Gaganyaan mission. Gaganyaan mission, as we know, the first manned mission of India. Now the relevance, the backdrop first of all is ISRO is upgrading the LMV3. LMV means Launch Vehicle Mark 3 for human rating. Human rating simply means कि वो vehicle fit हो जाता है humans को carry करने के लिए. That it is safe to carry the humans. Because कई बार क्या होता है कि there might be any malfunction in the rocket. In that context, you are able to make a machine which can actually keep the humans safe. So that is known as human rating. The relevance again from GS paper 3. Achievement of Indians in the science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technologies, awareness in the field of IT and space. Now what is the news? The news is that the ISRO is actually upgrading the LMV to HLMV. So this launch vehicle Mark 3 is being upgraded as the human launch vehicle Mark 3. So how it will be upgraded? It will be upgraded by inculcating the safety features for carrying the human crew members in this particular launch vehicle. And this LMV3 will be used for the Gaganyaan mission. Now, next thing is that what is the definition of human rating? The human rating, as we have discussed, is the rigorous engineering and certification process that ensures a space system such as a launch vehicle or crew module can safely carry humans. Because see, the rocket or launch vehicle is a very complex thing. If a timing of seconds is being manipulated, then the whole mission can actually fail. So in that context, we need to have backups so that we can keep the crew members safe. So human rated system maintain an acceptable level of risk, and that risk, for example, from the perspective of NASA, it is only 0.2% chance of catastrophic loss of crew during ascent or descent. Now the process involved includes redundant critical system. For example, there will be triple or quad flight computers. अगर एक कंप्यूटर फेल हो गया तो दूसरा वाला वर्क करेगा, सेकंड फेज तो थर्ड वाला वर्क करेगा, थर्ड फेज तो फोर्थ वाला वर्क करेगा. So in that it is going to have redundant critical system. Then it is going to have robust abort capabilities. For example, in any case, if the mission has to be aborted in a running phase, then it will be having a robust abort capabilities that mission को पूरा safely abort किया जा सके. Then fault tolerance to single failure, that is also there. Then reliable environmental control and life support systems are also included in this human rated spacecraft. It involves exhaustive testing, verification and documentation well beyond the cargo rockets. Next is, what are the examples of human rated vehicles? The first one we are having is Soyuz 2 or Soyuz program, that is of the Russia, and it has an impeccable record, 150 crewed missions and 98% success. The initial two actually missions failed. After that, after 1971, there has been no failure with respect to the Soyuz mission. Now China के पास भी है Long March 2F Shenzhou program के अंदर, and it is also having a 100% rate. That means they have not seen any failed missions. 16 crewed missions, they have been all successful. Then United States SpaceX Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon, again it is also very much reliable, 20 human missions and 100% success rate. Then they are having another one, Space Launch System. Then they are having Space Shuttle program that has now been stopped. And now new one is ULA Atlas V Boeing Starliner, and its certification is under pending. So it is under consideration for giving the certification for human rating. Now if we talk about this ISRO, this LMV-3 or Launch Vehicle Mark III is selected for India's maiden spacecraft mission being upgraded and certified as HLMV. So what ISRO has done to make it HLMV or human rated light vehicle Mark III, first of all, it has enhanced the added backup and reliability improved system. It has strengthened the engines. Then extensive testing of the subsystems has been done, and a rapid crew escape system to pull crew modules away from the danger during launch has also been installed. So these are the things that the ISRO is doing to upgrade the LMV-3 to HLMV-3. H means human rated launch vehicle module. Now why we are using this LMV-3 for the space mission? That is also one question. The answer is that, first of all, impeccable track record. There has been no catastrophe with respect to LMV-3 vehicle till now. We have all the successful mission that we have done with LMV-3. Then higher reliability in ISRO's fleet. Secondly, it is having fully indigenous propulsion stages, that is Vikas engine and C-25 cryogenic engine and S-200 boosters. Uske saath, it also aligns with the Atmanirbhar Bharat goal of self-reliance in the human capabilities. Now, based upon the discussion, attempt this MCQ and post your answers in the comment box. The sixth topic we are having is the tariffs imposed by Mexico on India and other countries. So the backdrop is Mexico imposes 50% tariffs on India. Relevance, GS paper 3, challenges to Indian economy, external sector. So what is the news? The news is that Mexico has imposed 50% tariffs on the countries which are not having free trade agreement with Mexico. And this group also includes India as well as China and other South Asian countries, because India is not having any kind of free trade agreement with Mexico. Now, one thing that we need to understand is that these tariffs are not new. They were earlier imposed in April 2024 and they were for 2 years. Now, the Senate of Mexico has actually extended these tariffs further beyond the 2 years. Now, these tariffs were on articles like textiles, steel, auto parts, plastic, footwear, etc. So a total of 1400 products were under this tariffs. Now what has happened is that the tariffs on automotive parts have been increased from 20 to 50%. Now this automotive parts, India is a major supplier to Mexico of this automotive parts, and that is going to affect India. Now why they are doing? They are doing because there are concerns that Mexico is being used by India for rerouting the exports to USA. कि इंडिया से जो एक्सपोर्ट्स है पहले मैक्सिको जाते हैं, मैक्सिको से रीआउट होके यूएसए जाते हैं. So there are concerns of the USA that India is exporting to USA through Mexico. So in that context, Mexico has imposed these tariffs, and that is not the only reason, because United Nations, Mexico, Canada, they are having a trade agreement and the review is coming up. So before the review, Mexico has taken this particular step. So let's see what is the rationale behind Mexico's move. Mexico says that it is aimed at aligning US expectation ahead of the USMCA that we have discussed, US Mexico Canada agreement, trade agreement. Now it is expected, second argument they have given is that 3.76 billion additional revenue will be generated by Mexico. Then it will also protect the local industries facing competition from Chinese exports and will support the domestic job and strengthen the domestic production levels. Now if we talk about India के लिए क्या होगा? Now problem first of all क्या है कि now Mexico has put, it is a possibility that other South Asian countries may also put certain these kind of restrictions on India. So that is one concern, that other South American countries may follow the suit. They may also increase tariffs on India. Then secondly, India's vehicle and auto part exports to USA were nearly only $1 billion, whereas total goods exported to Mexico were 5.3 billion. So our exports are going to be affected in a very big manner, and especially the auto exports. India's automakers heavily rely on Mexico, India's third largest car export market, and Indian exports to Mexico are centralized in only few key sectors. Now next thing is that the motor cars, auto components are the parts that we export. 10% of India's total auto are being received by Mexico. It accounts for total India's 12% motorcycle exports. So for India, Mexico is a very, very important market, especially with respect to automotive parts as well as automobiles. Now what industry is saying? Industry is saying that first of all, we are making low-end cars which are less than 1000 cc. And what Mexico is exporting to USA is high-end cars which are having higher power, higher engine capacity. So in any way, Indian exports are going for Mexico only, they are not being rerouted to USA. So that is the point that have been raised by the Indian industry, automotive industry, with respect to these tariffs. Now it's your turn. Attempt this MCQ and you post your answers in the comment box. The last topic we are having is gold card. Now this gold card is actually the brainchild of US President Donald Trump. Now what is the backdrop? The backdrop is that US gold card visa program came online on December 10, 2025. Relevance, international relations. Also you can talk about economy because many people are going for the economic reasons to USA. Now let's see what is this gold card. What US President is saying that we need immigrants but who can provide value to USA, not burden on the USA. For in this context, they have introduced this gold card. The Donald Trump, US President, is saying that many graduates who graduate in USA have to go back and who can actually provide value to USA. So in this context, they have introduced this gold card. Now what are going to be the provisions? The provision is that to obtain a gold card, the fees will be $1 million for an individual and $2 million for a foreign company per employee. So for per employee, they have to pay $2 million if they want a gold card. Now why this fees is so high? The fees is so high because they want to retain only talented people in USA. They don't want immigrants to go to USA. They only want immigrants who can actually provide value to USA. So in this context, they have introduced this gold card. So President Donald Trump formally launched the gold card visa on December 10, 2025. Online application portal has now gone online and it offers a legal residency and pathway to the US citizenship. The aim is to attract and retain high-skilled workers, especially top graduates from US universities. Also, business leaders were having a problem because many of the times they see that the talent is going out from USA, they are returning back to their countries. So in that context, they have introduced this gold card. Now gold card is different from green card that we have. इससे पहले भी there was a EB5 visa. This program actually said that you will be issued a EB5 investor visa and the fees will be $1 million only. So $1 million investment you have to do in USA, and then you will be issued this EB5 visa. And the condition was that there should be job creation along with the investment. So investment should be there and a job creation should be there. Then only you will be given this EB5 visa. Now in this gold card, this job creation requirement has been removed, and there is no cap upon the investment part also. So with this we conclude for the day, and this is the question for you. Practice the question and put your answers in the comment box. So with this we conclude for the day. Thank you very much.